Joshua himself, the fight they really want is obviously Tyson Fury, and I think that without the politics of boxing involved, hence the belts and who's champion, who's not champion, what split we're going to get, they go down the middle, 50-50, big fight at Wembley. We get it late summer, you know, we maybe October, November time. It's an easy fight to make, and if both guys are in shape, they're only going to need 10 to 12 weeks.
Would it end in a knockout?
I've always believed we win that fight by knockout. But
it's like a game of chess. Strongly disagree.
So Fury has brought a lot of intrigue, a lot of interest. He is a charismatic athlete, and I think a lot of people would like to see the Fury versus Joshua fight. Yeah. I've said it rather mean-spiritedly, but I'll say it again, the battle of the losers. I don't know how they're going to get into the ring unless the Saudis put up a check, because if they want to do this in the same way they've done Dubois versus Usyk, I can't see this as anything more than a 50-60 million pound fight, and I don't think either of those boys, maybe Joshua, but I don't think Fury's going to get in the ring for 25 million quid. I know people probably have to take a deep breath when they hear 25 million quid, but if you've just been paid 75 million quid for your last fight, you probably ain't stepping back into the ring for 25 million quid.
Frank Warren has reignited speculation in the boxing world by hinting at a possible clash between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Speaking in a recent interview, the veteran promoter suggested that talks could resume, sparking renewed hope among fans. His comments have added fuel to long-standing anticipation around the all-British heavyweight showdown.
Would you like to see the AJ fight?
I would like to see it, just to clean up the lack of controversy, I would say, because it never happened. But I'd like to see the fight happen. But look, you know, it's up to the guys. If they want to do it, get it on.
Warren stressed that although there is no confirmation, the possibility of a fight still exists. "I am confident that we can still reach an agreement under the right conditions," he said. He added that Anthony Joshua is now the only one who can decide whether to move on with the bout.
I've got to ask you about Tyson Fury. He put out that post yesterday.
Yesterday, I haven't spoken with him. He's always got a twinkle in his eye. I will not ever say to him or try and ask him to come back and fight. As I've always said, if he chooses to do that, that will be his choice.
He is in the gym though. Is it good to see him still training?
He's in the gym. He looks hard. He has to go in the gym. He does that for peace of mind. I know it's very important to him, and it's good that he is in the gym.
Furthermore, he made it clear that Tyson Fury has complete control over his decision to challenge Anthony Joshua after coming out of retirement. He stated that although he would be prepared to fight if Fury so desired, the decision would ultimately rest with the victor. Warren added that he would support Fury in whichever decision he makes.
Can you convince him out of retirement, Frank?
I strongly disagree he should come out of retirement, because he should only do that if he wants to do it. If he wants to do it, I strongly agree that we should get the fight on. It's look, Tyson's like AJ. He's done everything he can do in boxing. Two-time world champion. They've both done that. Everybody wants to see that fight. Of course they do. I'd love to see it and maybe still see it. That is down to what Eddie says. It's all down to one man. If he wants to do it, he'll do it. If he don't, he won't. And whatever he wants to do, I agree with it.
Recently, both Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren firmly agreed that the British public deserves to witness Tyson Fury's Anthony Joshua in 2025. They emphasized that delivering this historic fight is a priority for the sport and its fans.
The British public deserve to see AJ v Fury in 2025.
Eddie Hearn expressed that with the politics cleared and belts no longer a barrier, it's finally the right moment for Fury and Joshua to meet in the ring. He emphasized that as both fighters are still in their prime, 2025 is the ideal timeframe for the much-awaited battle. The sport owes this showdown to the fans who have waited patiently. Hearn said. Additionally, he acknowledged that he and other promoters ought to have pushed for the bout to happen sooner.
we probably should have done a little bit more to get that done previously. We're not wholly to blame. I just feel that now, with the belts removed, with the politics removed, and with both fighters still in or around their prime, now's the time. That's what I feel. It's all up to one man, and that man has walked away from the sport, full respect, and if that's how it's going to be, you can't blame him for that. But he holds the key to giving the British public what we've wanted for a long, long time.
Moreover, he claimed that Fury still had the motivation and vigor necessary to compete at the greatest level. Like Frank Warren, he emphasized that Fury's decision to proceed is now the only factor determining whether or not he fights Anthony Joshua.
I think Tyson's a competitor. I think he's still got plenty left in the tank, and I expect him to be back. And we just hope that that's an Anthony Joshua fight. But I guess that's down to him. And then we again just waiting on Tyson Fury really to decide what he wants to do, and it's up to him whether he wants to return or not.
Besides, Hearn said he believes the fight between Fury and Joshua can easily be made. He emphasized that the magnitude of the bout goes beyond belts in rankings.
I'm guessing there's no belts on the line because neither are world champions. So do you think this fight could be easily made?
Yeah, I do. I think in the past it's always been one's a champion, one's a challenger. Now both guys are in a similar position. They're coming off a defeat. Fury 2 defeats, but they are to Alexander Usyk. I think they're both still pretty much in their prime, and as we saw last Saturday, sometimes you don't need the world championship belt. Sometimes when you've got two champions trying to become undisputed, it's a little bit cagey, and this is Ben Eubank was just a great example of two guys that just went to war. And, that's exactly what you'd get with AJ against Fury.
Additionally, he described the potential fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua as an incredibly exciting matchup. He added that only Wembley Stadium in the UK has the capacity to host such a high-profile event.
If AJ does fight Tyson Fury, are you more inclined to put that fight on at, for example, Wembley Stadium?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ben Eubank, unbelievable scenes, but Fury AJ is kind of on another level, really. I mean, and Wembley would be the only place to hold that in the UK. So, yes.
However, Hearn also confirmed that discussions about the fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have only focused on the possibility so far. He clarified that no specific dates, terms, or conditions have been discussed yet.
Oh, that's on. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've spoken about the hope of the fight, the possibility of a fight, but we've never had a conversation about dates or terms or anything like that. And you know what, Andy, to be honest with you, when they get to that size, like the fighters, it's probably like a DM from Tyson Fury to AJ to say, do you want to do it?
More interestingly, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua's possible bout was described by Eddie Hearn as the biggest fight in the UK and as uncomparable. He underlined the match's importance, saying it would get international attention. He conveyed his optimism that the much-awaited fight would finally happen.
I don't think it's going to be me reaching out to Frank Warren or Spencer Brown saying, come on guys, try and convince Tyson Fury. He's his own man. He's always
that's a good point.
Decisions. And I think it's more like him just going, one day just sitting on the sofa, just taking the rubbish out of the dogs for a walk and thought, do you know what? We need to give the British public what they've always wanted and make the biggest fight ever in this country. I mean, ever. Not even comparable to how big that fight is. And, I do have faith that it will happen.
There is a lot of excitement surrounding the potential fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Many top boxing personalities have also weighed in on the matchup, adding to the momentum alongside the promoters. Their support reflects the massive interest this bout has generated across the boxing world. Most importantly and most notably, Anthony Joshua expressed his desire to fight all the major challenges of his generation, with Tyson Fury at the top of the list. He disclosed that although he had previously signed a contract to fight Fury, the bout had never taken place. Joshua is still committed to making the fight happen if the chance presents itself.
Would it bother you if you retired and you didn't fight Tyson Fury? Would that grain on you and bother you?
50-50. No, because you can never look back. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I think for me, if you know my mentality, it's like it is what it is, isn't it? But then at the same time, as a fight fan and as a fighting person, I want to fight all the challenges in my generation. I've already signed to fight Fury a few times, and you can never fault me for that. Then they had the arbitration with Wilder. Then they tried to blacklist me when they had their trilogy.
He further stated that he has always made efforts to bring the fight with Tyson Fury to fruition. He reiterated his commitment to continue trying his best to make the highly anticipated showdown a reality. Joshua remains focused on securing the fight for his fans and his career.
Fury's called me out and said I've got 24 hours to sign a contract, and I've been through it with that guy. So from my end, it would be annoying, but 100% I've tried. and I'll do everything I can to make it happen, and I hang around as long as I have to make it happen. That's on my end. I can't control what another man's going to do.
Is it down to him? I mean, he put a tweet out the other day.
I think we should stop talking about it because he's retired.
In addition, he also pointed out that if someone calls him for a fight and he agrees while being retired, it raises the question of what kind of retirement he's truly in. He also suggested that retirement doesn't mean completely ruling out the possibility of a return to the ring.
Huh? Yeah, but my thing is that, like, you can't retire. Okay, if I say I'm retired and I'm not retired, what am I retiring for? Like, what? So we still talk about the fact that we're gonna fight, but he's retired? Is he retired?
Besides the serious remarks regarding the potential fight, Joshua also jokingly said that Tyson Fury announces whatever he wants on Instagram and doesn't need to go through George or Frank Warren. He highlighted Fury's habit of making bold statements directly on social media. Additionally, regarding this potential big matchup, Johnny Nelson believes that both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua would love to face each other in the ring. He highlighted that this is the fight that fans and fighters alike have been eagerly anticipating for years.
And for Tyson, the biggest purse out there is for each other. The biggest risk out there is anybody else, because AJ's proved, you know, if he doesn't turn up, he gets turned over. So why would you risk that? For Tyson, again, you know, he needs that motivation, that drive to make sure he doesn't make that mistake. So this is the fight that's there for the both of them.
He also stated that he does not anticipate that Joshua or Fury will engage in any combat following this possible confrontation. He clarified that since both boxers are now in their prime, they might not seek more fights after this eagerly awaited matchup.
I don't expect either of them to be fighting again. I expect them both to have retired by the end of this year. And I expect that because, you know, they've reached the highest of the heights. You look at where the position they are in, away from boxing compared to everybody else, they're in a great position. And you look at the only fight that's going to get them the best out of each other, and that's each other. Anything less, and it devalues their stock.
Furthermore, regarding Fury's comeback to fight Anthony, Don McRae said he would be astonished if Tyson Fury doesn't return to the ring, especially with a potential fight against Anthony Joshua on the table. McRae sees this as the kind of challenge that could easily pull Fury out of retirement.
Do you honestly believe that he walks away on his own terms now with Anthony Joshua fight on the table, that he can do that and live happily with that? The only reason I say that is obviously he teased a comeback last night, didn't he, on social media, which is actually because he's going to manage the Soccer Aid team. Yeah. And if you look at the comments, the sheer interaction of, oh my word, he's back. I just wonder, having spent that time with him, do you sit here now confident enough that we won't see him again, or do you think we will?
I'll be astonished if he doesn't come back. In a way, I'd love it if he calls it quits, because I think he doesn't need to do anything more, but I will bet that he will be back.
Another top figure, Chris Billum-Smith, also echoed Don McRae's thoughts, saying he also doubts Tyson Fury will stay retired with a Joshua fight in sight. He believes the scale of the bout makes Fury's return very likely.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he's retired before, right?
We're trying to count. We think it's 4. Some people say 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same place as Don. I think I'll be amazed if we don't see him in a boxing ring again.
As rumors about a potential fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury continue to circulate, Joshua has been training harder than ever. The growing speculation has motivated him to focus on his fitness and readiness, knowing that a high-profile showdown could be on the horizon. What's more, Joshua is also determined to be in top form if the fight materializes. His commitment to preparation shows how seriously he takes the prospect of facing Fury in the ring. On the other hand, Tyson Fury's abilities and power are evident through his previous performances in the ring and training footage. His dominant victories and impressive displays of skill showcase his strength, technique, and resilience. These past achievements and insights into his training make it clear that Fury remains a formidable opponent. His consistency in delivering high-level performances only adds to the anticipation of a potential fight with Joshua.
Jumps. 5. Brilliant.
Tyson Fury's retirement announcement has stirred a wide range of reactions across the boxing world. Many within the sport have been left questioning whether it's a permanent decision or a temporary pause. The timing of the announcement, especially with potential mega fights still on the table, has fueled debate and speculation.
Where does he sit in the heavyweight division right now, as in where would you rank him? He's probably still the #2 ranked heavyweight in the world right now. Forget Dubois, the IBF champion, and whatever else. I say where he sits right now, there's still a lot of fight left in him. I believe that Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, he talks about legacies, modern eras, and I believe that is the fight that is missing. To the casual fan, that's still the biggest fight in boxing today. So I believe we still get it.
However, observers have analyzed his recent behavior, past statements, and competitive nature to gauge the likelihood of a return. The uncertainty surrounding his retirement has only intensified interest in what comes next.
Tyson Fury has always talked about, boxing being his focus, his discipline in life. We know that he's had mental health problems outside of the sport when he's come away from the sport, and he says that training absolutely keeps him sane, and it is part of his life, and long may that continue. He's 36 years of age now, and he'll want to see that continue. Look, we look at his last performance against Alexander Usyk, and you say, I think we had it, he lost by 3 rounds or so.
Eddie Hearn has also weighed in on Tyson Fury's retirement, expressing skepticism about whether it was genuine. He suggested it might have been a strategic move rather than a final decision. His comments added to the broader doubt surrounding Fury's long-term intentions.
Your reaction to this announcement that's come this afternoon from Tyson Fury?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? We've been here before, but if that's the end for him, good luck. He's had a great career, made a lot of money. Disappointing, of course, for British fight fans and sports fans that I feel like the time is now to make that fight quite easily. But, if the fight has been punched out of him, if his heart's not in it anymore, it's a dangerous sport and it's time to get out. The cynic in me will always believe that it could be a negotiation tactic, but, perhaps not. And if it's not, we wish him all the best.
The whole boxing community, including fans, is anxiously awaiting the much-awaited fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Everyone is eagerly awaiting a decisive fight between the two British titans, and the hype around this possible confrontation has escalated to unprecedented levels. It is regarded by many as the bout that would characterize this heavyweight boxing era. The intense anticipation shows how important this contest is to the sport. How do you see the current situation unfolding between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, with both fighters expressing interest and promoters hinting at possibilities? Do you believe this long-awaited clash will finally happen? The anticipation has been building for years, and fans continue to dream of this epic showdown. If it does take place, could it become the biggest fight in British boxing history? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Will this blockbuster ever materialize? And just how massive could it be?